Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Future of Work in Manufacturing Masterclass, the third masterclass for this week for Made Futures exhibition, taking place from the 22nd to the 26th of March. Thank you all for joining us today. We're just going to wait a moment, another minute or so, to give everybody the opportunity to join us, and so we don't get started without them. But thank you so much for joining us today. We have a great lineup of speakers to talk to you today. So it's a really rare opportunity for you to listen to a range of industry leaders and seek their advice, essentially. So thank you for joining us. Okay, great. So we have hit 11:16 a.m. So good morning, everybody. And like I said, welcome to the third masterclass of Made Futures Careers Fair. From the 22nd to the 26th of March, we'll be hosting two events a day. The first, a masterclass, and the second, a panel discussion, all aimed at offering advice to job seekers with the help of real-life industry leaders. So I'd like to thank our panelists here today for joining us, and also for all the job seekers who have also joined us today, along with the Made-in group members who are also here to support us for this event. So like I just said a moment ago, today we have some fantastic speakers who will offer their expert advice on what manufacturing jobs will look like in the future, with the age of Industry 4 upon us and the UK already being behind in the world of automation. Our spirited speakers will offer their insight into what they believe jobs will look like in manufacturing and what skills would be required to get up to speed. So before I introduce our panelists here today, I would like to share with you a short video on how you can access the Made Futures exhibition and how you can network with the organisations and the industry leaders here today on the panel. So I'm just going to take my headphones out now so that I can share my screen and show you the video. So hopefully now you can all see my screen and still hear me as I've taken the headphones out.
Yes.
I'll play this short video now that you guys can see how you can access.
I'm Charles Anderson, Managing Director of Made in the Midlands and Made in Yorkshire. And thanks very much for registering and attending the Made Futures Virtual Careers Week. The session you're on at the moment will be one of the breakout events in the regions where you'll get a chance to listen into some of the employers in your area who are taking people on, understand why career in manufacturing engineering is a great one, and the opportunity to sit in breakout rooms and network with them afterwards. There's one event each day like this, so I encourage you to register for the ones that are relevant to your geography, but definitely check out the wider elements of the Made Futures Careers Week, because the actual virtual exhibition hall is the key part of this in terms of being able to contact and speak with the other employers. You'll do so by visiting madefutures.com and clicking the login button in the bottom hand of the corner, where you put in the email address and password that we've sent you, which will give you access to the virtual careers hall itself and the lobby area. Click visit the Expo, and that opens up the live exhibition hall. So quickly navigating around, the skills hall is going to give you some exhibition standards from the local skills providers in your area, through apprenticeships to colleges and universities. The Made Futures book is a downloadable 120-page book as a prospectus of all the firms who are engaged in this event. Feel free to contact and engage with my colleagues on the Made help desk in terms of the live chat, and Jobs Board takes you back to where we've just come from, the Made Futures Jobs Board. The Careers Hall is really the key takeaway part of this exhibition. I encourage you to go and visit the stands after this call, especially the ones who are on your panel, because this is where they will direct you to. So you can search by sector, by accreditation, by what a company buys and sells, and you can scroll through employees accordingly. My advice is to click on as many as you can and interact with them, because all of these businesses are hiring at the moment. So we can load up the exhibition standards as follows. We can interact and understand what the company does and watch the personal greeting of the managing director and understand more about the business. We can download maybe a brochure and some stuff about here about looking for application engineers to join the team, so you actually have job descriptions. And then to engage with the person on the stand, simply click the live chat, and you can say something like, "Hi Joanna, I am interested in a career with your business. Joanna will then get this through as a live notification and can chat with you real time, or if she's on an additional chat, she'll get a notification of the message. She has your contact information. Crucially, visit as many stands as you can, because each of the exhibitors will get a report of the job seekers who have attended them. And I've seen most of them have been emailing out to people asking for further information and contacting job seekers themselves. So it's an excellent way to progress through. We'll be providing a certificate signed by Lord Whitby of participation. So I'd encourage you to achieve one of the deliverables on this, which is visiting the different exhibition stands themselves. And also each day there is a special competition where we are hiding a golden banner on one of the exhibition stands in the hall, and it's your job to kind of report to us through social media where the golden banner is on that particular day, and to contact us. As I said, all of these firms are hiring, and the key people for each business are available in the live chat forum. So please make sure you make use of your time this week. When you're going to go through to the fringe events, social events with the panelists, also make sure your video and audio is on, because at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for you to speak and interact with company owners. And it's a lot harder to do that if they can't see who you are, where you are. So use your week productively, be as visible as you can, and make the most of this opportunity to speak to employers. Thank you very much for supporting, and thank you very much for our panelists for speaking at this exhibition as well.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. So my colleague Charlie there mentioned that there will be networking sessions within this session. Unfortunately, that is later today at 2:30 p.m, which you can join Meet Britain's Makers, where you have the opportunity to network with those people. However, as Charlie mentioned, please, after this event, go over to the exhibition and visit our panelists' stands. They will be saying some great things here today, offering you some great advice. So if you would like to network with them further, or network with the organisation and see what they can offer, then please go to the exhibition. In addition to that, let's get started with today's event. So joining us today, we have Ian Cole. Just put your hand up, Ian, so everyone can see who you are. Ian Cole, Senior Employer Engagement Manager for Engineering and Manufacturing at Dudley College of Technology. We have Dr. Daniela Sawyer, Technical Lead, Robotic Machining at the University of Sheffield, AMRC. Colin Bancroft, Strategic Development Director at MTC and at the Manufacturing Technology Centre, that is, and Alan Pickering, Managing Director at Unison. So thank you all for joining us today and giving up your time to offer advice to the job seekers and manufacturers attending the event today. So I'm now going to give you guys all the opportunity just to introduce yourselves personally and talk a little bit about your businesses. So Ian, please introduce yourself, your business, and where your business is based.
Thanks very much, Yasmin, and good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. As Yasmin says, I'm Ian Cole. I'm Senior Employer Engagement Manager at Dudley College of Technology, based in Dudley in the Black Country. We've delivered technical training since 1862, and we offer a wide range of engineering and manufacturing courses, both full-time, part-time, and predominantly through apprenticeships, which is offered to anybody from school leaver age through to adults of all ages who may be upskilling in their existing job or perhaps looking to change careers. We work closely with a large number of employers to make sure that we are meeting the needs of industry both now and in the future. And we're particularly excited that we are part of the new Black Country and Marches Institute of Technology, which opens in September 2021. Which is also in Dudley and is a £32 million investment for the area, which is very much focused on higher level technical skills, which I think will be sort of relevant to the session today, focused around 4 key areas of advanced manufacturing and engineering, modern methods of construction and medical engineering, with digital technologies as a cross-cutting theme throughout everything that we do. And this will give students the opportunity to undertake a higher level course with a practical element, with degree level apprenticeships available, and again, designed with employers, which will give you the opportunity potentially to graduate with your degree funded by an employer, paid throughout the course, which we think is a really compelling offer. So really happy to be participating in the event this morning, and we're also exhibiting in the Made Futures exhibition. So I'd please encourage you and ask you to visit our stand in Made Futures.
Great, thank you for that, Ian. And as Ian mentioned, the Dudley College of Technology are exhibiting at the exhibition, and my colleague Annetta will pop the link to the exhibition in the chat below in case you don't have access at the moment. So thank you, Ian, for that. Daniela, please introduce yourself and your business.
So hi everyone, and thank you, Yasmin, for the introduction. My name is Daniela Sawyer. Just a little bit about myself. I have a degree in aerospace engineering and I hold a doctorate degree in structural dynamics, just in case you're wondering how I got to my current position, which is technical lead in robotic machining at the Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre in Sheffield, UK. So the Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre, or AMRC for short, is a research department of the University of Sheffield, but works as a hybrid where both industrial and academic projects take place. We are close to the manufacturing industry giants such as Airbus, Boeing, Rolls-Royce, BAE Systems, but also companies that are not necessarily in the aerospace industry such as Subsea 7, Austin Consultants, and so forth. For our job opportunities, you can go onto the University of Sheffield website, and that's where you find them. We constantly advertise them on LinkedIn as well, and all of the major marketing websites. And yeah, that's about it from me. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Daniela. And Alan, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alan Pickering. I'm the Joint Managing Director at Unison Limited. I'm responsible for the technical and sales aspects of what we do. Unison Limited has been going for about 50 years. We design and build special purpose machine tools, particularly specialism in tube bending machines here in Scarborough, North Yorkshire. We patented the all-electric tube bending machine in 1994 and have the record for the world's largest all-electric machine. Our customer base is global, and we work with some of the largest manufacturers in the world, including Boeing, Airbus, BAE Systems, Rolls-Royce, etc., and specialise in bending the most difficult materials such as titanium and Inconel. Our competition is also global and increasingly from lower cost countries. Our constant challenge is to get customers to appreciate the true value of our products and the bigger picture of the importance of UK manufacturing. We're strong believers in inspiring the younger generation and have run Scarborough Science and Engineering Week for the last 10 years, as well as being the founders of Scarborough UTC. So please come and visit our stand. We're always after new talent.
Great, thank you for that, Alan. And last but not least, Colin, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Yasmin. Yeah, so my name's Colin Bancroft. I'm the Strategic Development Manager at the Manufacturing Technology Centre, based just off Junction 2 of the M6 in Coventry on Anstey Business Park. The MTC was established in 2010 as an independent research and technology organisation with the purpose to inspire great British manufacturing on the global stage, and with a vision to continually to accelerate the UK's industrial growth, deliver innovation through active projects, change the way businesses compete, so providing support and guidance to UK manufacturers and how they can improve their productivity and efficiency, create and embed a future skills platform, and then maximise synergies within supply chains. It started off, like I say, back in 2010, with quite a small number of employees and 16 employer partners and members at that stage. Since then, we've seen some substantial growth. We've now got over 700 employees and over 100 members that we support on our programme. We're also the home of the National Centre for Additive Manufacturing. And as part of our future skills development, we've also got the Advanced Manufacturing Training Centre, which is the part of the business where I work, where we offer innovative apprenticeship programs and also commercial training to help individuals upskill in new and emerging technologies. So that's where we are. We've also got a stand at this Expo as well. So I'd look forward to hearing from you and speaking to you during the rest of the event.
Great, thank you for that, Colin. And thank you all again for joining us today. We have some amazing panelists here today, 3 major organisations for manufacturing and a manufacturer themselves who work within the Industry 4 kind of sector. So let's get started straight away with the questions. And my first question goes to you, Daniela. How do you think Industry 4 will impact manufacturing roles in the future, specifically in the UK?
So I think in terms of the impact that will have in manufacturing, I think it will make it more sustainable and hopefully more environmentally friendly. So Industry 4.0, it's all about the digital revolution and automation and so forth. Unfortunately, what we experienced in the last year means that digital is going to be a platform that we rely on from now on. So the way I see the manufacturing industry being impacted by Industry 4.0, think about paperless shop floors, for example. Think about more flexibility in your manufacturing by introducing robotics onto your shop floors rather than traditional machining. Think about coolant being replaced from this traditional emulsion coolant that is quite damaging for people's health, for example, and to the environment, to supercritical CO2. So definitely Industry 4.0 will have a great impact on the manufacturing and the roles in manufacturing. However, it's going to depend on how we adopt the technology and how the stakeholders take it in.
Great, okay. And Alan, do you have anything to add to that as a manufacturer based in Yorkshire? Do you have anything that you think you could add to that?
I'd say things are starting to move at an ever increasing pace. As I say to my son, there's going to be 3 jobs in the future. One, working for robots, whether that's artificial intelligence programs or robots themselves, working alongside robots, or programming the robots. I keep saying to him, you better be the kid that's programming those robots because the other jobs are going to be boring. So things are moving at pace. I would say spend time understanding the analytical tools that exist. Make sure you're a ninja in programs such as Microsoft Excel and so forth, because they're crucial tools in analyzing data. The data is going to be the thing that helps you make the informed decision going forward.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Okay, so for everybody watching here today, please just make sure also to take any notes, as this is quite a rare opportunity to hear from multiple industry leaders. But in addition to that, my next question goes to Ian. And Ian, what do you believe roles will look like in the future of manufacturing? And as an advanced manufacturing business manager, what skills is the sector looking for right now?
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, I think what's quite exciting for job seekers or people going into this sector at the moment is, I think as other panelists have just alluded to, businesses are learning as they go along as well. So quite often the employers we're talking to at the moment with the Institute of Technology that I talked about, that we're opening, we've actually got some dedicated space in there, which is for employers to prototype or to test products and actually learn how to implement this technology into their businesses. But they're looking for people in terms of jobs of the future or the jobs of now to help them get ready for the future, for these young people to come in and actually help implement something that they don't already know in their business. So that's particularly exciting for us and anybody in the session today who's looking to join this type of work. I think it's a great time to get into it. In terms of what the jobs are going to look like, I think as a training provider, we always listen to our employers and what their needs are, and have to make sure that our provision meets those needs. So our training courses might have quite a sort of generic core to them with fundamental engineering and manufacturing skills, but we have to be flexible around what the requirements of the employers are. So for people who are considering that sort of path, I would just encourage them to be open-minded and flexible about what that might be, because the skills or technology that they might have learned this year or now might not be the skills and technology that businesses need them to work on in the coming years. So it's going to be ever changing. And as Alan said, I think we're only just starting to predict what the jobs of the future might look like. And all you can do is kind of have a core skill set and be adaptable.
Yeah, of course. And to everybody watching, if you do have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A section, as we're getting some great answers already. And to you, Colin, you know, what Ian just said, why do you think it's a good time now to get into manufacturing, specifically, you know, working within Industry 4?
So for me, I think obviously coming from a manufacturing background, I did a time served apprenticeship prior going into this current role that I'm in now. I just think there's a wealth of opportunities within the manufacturing sector, even though we've just gone through a really difficult year. The recovery coming out of the current COVID-19 pandemic, industries looking at the manufacturing sector as a lead of how the economy is going to grow as a result of that. So I think there's some fantastic opportunities for young people, graduates, and also skilled people to progress their careers within engineering. And going back to what Ian said around the fundamentals of engineering, they're still going to be there. But what we want to try and do as well is also overlay that with what the employees of the future, probably some of them don't really know what the future landscape looks like. So as part of the research that takes place at the facilities such as the Manufacturing Technology Centre and the Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre in Sheffield, we're looking to sort of like seed that future technology throughout UK manufacturing. So some of the jobs and requirements of today are already there, but what we're also trying to achieve is create what that future landscape of skills looks like for people and provide them with the skills, knowledge and behaviours to adopt that technology going forwards.
Yeah, of course. And I think, you know, one of the things, you know, for the manufacturing sector is that people don't realize, you know, the vast opportunities within it. It's not just, you know, manufacturing, engineering specifically. It's, you know, IT, finance, marketing. There's so many avenues you can go down within the manufacturing sector. And I think it's important for people to realize that. So thank you for that, Colin. And Daniela, my next question goes to you. So as, you know, the technical lead for robotic machining at the AMRC in Sheffield, what do you think future jobs in robotics specifically look like, and what is available right now in your experience?
Right. So yes, what they look like. Well, because I work in research sector, as Colin was saying, we're looking at the jobs that are almost the jobs of the future in terms of industry, what they will be available. So things like automation jobs, integration jobs, control engineering jobs, electrical engineering jobs, and those are the type of jobs that we have available at the moment in AMRC. So what I mean by automation is programming or driving a robot arm. So that would be one of the skills that you would want to have, either through a degree or through an apprenticeship. We offer apprenticeship through our training center as well, but these are the skills that we instill in people. And we also offer training ourselves as a company for people. So if you don't have necessarily the training, we need you to have a can-do attitude towards it. So that's very important, especially in robotic machining. So knowing how to drive the robot, we see a shift into robots being driven by traditional CNC controllers. And that's to do with making them a little bit more user-friendly, really. So people look at them almost as a CNC. They don't get scared of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The integration jobs, it's all about the reason why we're going towards robotics is all this flexibility that it offers. A robot can pick and place something, but it can also machine a piece. So what you want is all of this to be integrated you want them to work together. You want the robot to kind of know that it needs to now to pick and place, it needs to put it onto a pallet and move to the next piece, and now it needs to machine. So for that, that's where the control skills come into place, and the electrical skills, where you build panels, for example. And to continue with what my colleagues were saying, that's the idea of the new jobs. People traditionally think about manufacturing, they think about the coolant, they think about dirty environment, and this is what you do. Well, now with the Industry 4.0, we're completely opening the field. The jobs are so varied, and we need, PLC programming skills, we need digital skills a lot, because the revolution of availability of data and what you do with that data is extremely important. So programming skills like C++, Python, Unity, cloud experience, because everybody loves to talk about the cloud and big data and using Azure and AWS. So that's kind of like what we're looking for. But again, we are a research center, which means that we're always going to be thinking a bit ahead of the curve. But there is no reason why today's job seekers cannot think the same way and think in advance a little bit.
Yeah, of course. And really that comes quite nicely in my next question to Colin, really, as Colin, I'd like to ask you, in your experience, what are companies doing to upskill their current staff, and what can job seekers do to get ahead of that curve? Because, with the age of Industry 4 upon us and robotics becoming more and more popular, not essentially within the UK yet, as we're quite behind essentially behind other G7 countries. But what are companies doing to upskill their current staff so it's in line with, Industry 4 and the future of manufacturing? And what can job seekers do to get ahead of that curve?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So there are a number of things currently that I'm experiencing from employees and their attitudes to adopting new and emerging technologies. The first thing that I'm involved with is working with employees to support them through their apprenticeship training programs. So that's the sort of like starting point. In terms of Industry 4.0, they're all already starting to look for specific skills now. So there's organizations I'm working with that are looking at introducing cobots, so how humans interface with robotics during the manufacturing process, looking at automated part loading within CNCs to help improve efficiencies and so on and so forth. So see, these are some of the things that our organizations are looking for, and how they're starting to seed Industry 4.0 throughout their actual apprenticeship training programs. Alongside that, they're looking for specific training solutions in particular areas. Now, from some of the research that we've conducted within the SME community, so small to medium enterprises, for those that aren't sure of the acronym on the call, they are in a position now where they want to start to adopt and look to digitalize their businesses, but they themselves probably don't know where to start that journey. So part of what we're doing as a training organization is looking at how we upskill the decision makers within those small to medium enterprises of what the benefits of Industry 4.0 will have on their organization, and then therefore that will seed through and build a culture within those businesses, and that's going to create future job opportunities for the people within this call. So I think the skills that employers are currently looking for are more probably the softer skills around that level of enthusiasm, willingness to learn, and the commitment. And then once they can demonstrate that, that's when they can start to then upskill the specific technical aspects within the manufacturing sector.
Yeah, of course. And again, this comes quite nicely in my next question to Ian, which in addition to what Colin has said, Ian, what can job seekers or those looking to get a role in manufacturing do to be ready for future roles in manufacturing? So, Colin was talking about that enthusiasm and willingness to learn being the first step in order to get a role in any sector, essentially. But, what can job seekers do here today to be prepared for those future roles in manufacturing, whatever they may be?
Yeah, I think some of the points that have already been made are really valid, and the biggest or most common conversation we have with employers that approach us is that sort of concern about the lack of skills or the ageing workforce, and it's sort of almost a perfect storm, because you've got companies that have got an ageing workforce who are aware that they need to replace those staff who are going to be moving out of the business in the coming years, but also you want to bring them in early enough so that they get the opportunity to learn, you know, from those time served staff, and for them to be able to pass on all that knowledge. But then also you've got emerging technologies which aren't in the business yet, that they know that they're going to need to bring in, and then have competent staff trained on that. But I think going back to what Colin just said a moment ago, employers understand that they will need to train or train with our support their staff on, you know, very technical and specific skills, but all they really look for from the beginning are the core skills and behaviours of being able to demonstrate that you can turn up on time, have a can-do attitude, be prepared to learn, show initiative, and be open-minded to what great opportunities there are in companies. So I'm probably not telling anybody anything that they haven't heard before there or didn't already know. But I think employers know that if somebody comes with the right sort of raw traits and qualities, between us we can teach the rest. But I still think, again, I think it was Colin who said earlier that although we're talking about Industry 4.0 today, the core skills of manufacturing and engineering are still required by employers. So almost every employer that I talk to from a manufacturing perspective would still like their apprentice to start their journey on the shop floor in the machine shop, doing bench fitting, learning how to use hand tools, measuring, marking out, all the fundamentals that they did as an apprentice. Because even if they're going to end up programming a 5-axis CNC machine or working on robots or at a CAD desk, they still expect or need to be able to know how to machine a part or why that's important. So I think we can't lose the fundamentals or the basics before we encourage people to kind of run into these emerging technologies. That the building blocks still need to start from scratch, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a really important one, taking initiative, because I think it's sort of when you're in a new role, you know, it sometimes it's daunting, isn't it? Like to ask questions, or, you know, you don't want to seem like, you know, that you didn't know something, and you don't want it to come across like, you know, that you should have known that, and that you don't. So yeah, that's a really good point to make, taking initiative and asking the questions when they need to be asked. And, you know, within apprenticeships, you have the opportunity in manufacturing to work across those different departments that we just mentioned. So IT, finance, working on the shop floor. So it's a really good opportunity to figure out, you know, where you stand, what you enjoy most, what you're best at. So thank you for that, Ian. So my next question, before we go to our final question, which I'll put to the 3 organisations here today, I would like to ask Alan, you know, what skills are required and desired in your experience, Alan, working directly as a manufacturer within the manufacturing and engineering industry? So just bearing in mind that Colin mentioned, you know, taking initiative, you know, being enthusiastic and having that willingness to learn, as Ian also mentioned, what other skills are required sort of right now and will be still in the future in your experience?
Obviously, like everyone said, the crucial one is having that can-do attitude. To every problem, there is a solution. It might not be palatable, but there's always a solution out there. So the ability to look at a problem, analyze it, determine the root cause, and proffer solutions, those skills are going to be gold dust. Mm-hmm. And again, a lot of what other people have said, stay abreast of the latest technology, but view it with an air of skepticism. You know, don't see it as a panacea. Listen to the people with experience, but don't be afraid to challenge and make suggestions. For us in our business, I would say we're seeing a more of a drive to make informed decisions. And I see that in sort of 2 strands, really. So gather more data, and then analyze that data, and then simulating the different scenarios and understanding potential outcome before you commit. So sometimes called the digital twin. So a lot more simulation software, but people with the ability to look and analyze and proffer solutions and try those solutions before you actually commit to those solutions. So, instead of expensive machining time, look at it on a CAD simulation package, or we make a simulation software for our tube bending machines. But in our world, before you bend the tube, make sure you can make it. Make sure you got enough power to bend it, B, the right tooling on the machine to bend it, and C, it doesn't have collisions. Because once it's out of the digital world and into manufacturing, it's so much more expensive to drag it back and redesign something, because there's always ramifications of something being wrong. In our world, if a tube's bent, can't be made, and it needs a flange putting on, the ramifications are that the tube next to it might need to be redesigned. And that already might be on the ship or on a plane or wherever.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to look at the big picture, in my view, make design master, and keep playing out those scenarios to make sure you do it right first time.
Yeah, and that's some great piece of advice, and to all of the job seekers here today who are looking to get a role within the sector that Alan's within, then yeah, please take note of that. So that's some great advice there. Thank you, Alan. So, like I said, I just have one more question today before we move over to the questions from our delegates here on the event today. And firstly, I'd like to ask Daniela, and then I will later ask Colin and Ian. But Daniela, what training courses are available at your organisation that are in line with the future of work in manufacturing?
So first of all, like I was saying before, at AMRC, we have the training center, the AMRC training center. So they offer a lot of training for this current roles, training in robotics. So even if it's something that's not covered by the training center, my organization supports learning a lot, being associated with a university. So we do have packages of learning with, for example, KUKA, which is a big provider of robots with ABB. So you actually go on site with them, not in today's world, but you go on site with them and you spend a week there, and then you get trained up on properly how to program a robot, using a teach pendant, but also using their own natural programming language. We offer a lot of digital training. So we're very open to upskill people in C++ and Python, because that goes back to what my colleagues were saying about data being very important and knowing machine learning in order to make informed decision from all the data that you've gathered. We also offer training through professional bodies. So one of the key things, and I cannot stress this enough, is to be a member of a professional body. It's important for you to get recognized. So IMechE, IET, all of these places. And also that's how you keep up to date with what's happening, isn't it? Because they keep publishing their articles in magazines. So keep reading and stay curious. So we offer a range of training, literally dependent on what skills we're looking for and also what the employee wants. It's an open environment where you can request training as long as you have a proper business case for it. The company will try to make it happen for you.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you for that, Daniela. And guys, we're due to finish at 12 p.m. today. However, we will get the questions answered. So if you could stick around for 15 more minutes to take this event up to an hour, then that would be great, because then you'd get your questions answered. But next, I'd like to put the question to Colin. So Colin, what training courses are available at your organisation that are in line with the future of work?
Yeah, so currently we've got an apprenticeship program at level 3, delivering 2 standards at the moment in the engineering technician pathway. And what we look to do is actually overlay some of our commercial training courses on top of that to support the adoption of new and emerging technologies. As part of that suite of commercial training courses, one of the key areas of focus is around additive manufacturing and how that disruptive technology is going to impact UK manufacturing moving forwards. And that's going right the way from that initial introduction to the subject area of AM, and then progressing through to design for additive manufacturing and altering that mindset from subtractive machining through to an additive manufacturing process. And then we also have introductory level courses for how to implement automation robotics into your business. And we're also in the process of just finalizing the development of digitalizing your business, primarily aimed at decision makers in organizations. But that's not to say that those courses wouldn't prove beneficial to the people on today's chat. To get that awareness of what that new and emerging technology is going to look like and the impact it's going to have on that manufacturing sector. Some of those courses are available free of charge currently. So our introduction to automation robotics, as an example, was one of our online training courses, as well as the part 1 introduction to engineers for additive manufacturing. Just to get people more aware of what those technologies look like. But all of that information can be found on our website. And also, if you do want to come and find out some additional information, please don't hesitate to come and visit our stand. Even if I'm not currently on the stand, post your questions and then we'll respond via the emails that you've actually provided during the event.
Yeah, most definitely. And like as Colin mentioned, please head over to the stands at the virtual exhibition for any additional links for what we've spoken about here today. Daniela mentioned a moment ago KUKA Robotics, who are actually exhibiting at Made Futures. So if you're looking for opportunities within the robotics industry, please head over to the exhibition and view KUKA Robotics along with the other exhibitors who are within the robotics industry. And then finally, Colin, what training courses are available at Dudley Advanced?
Yeah, that one for me. Yeah, Yasmin, thank you. So, well, like the MTC, we offer apprenticeships at levels 3 and above. So we do the engineering technician level 3 apprenticeship. We do 5 different pathways of that. So all have the sort of core disciplines that we talked about earlier. But then you get the opportunity to specialise in a pathway, which could be machinist or toolmaker, mechatronics maintenance technician. We do product design and development, and we also offer technical support as a pathway as well. So that's at level 3. And then, as I was saying earlier, with our delivery at the Black Country and Marches Institute of Technology, we're going to be doing apprenticeships all the way up to level 6 with a degree embedded as part of that programme. So there's a range of engineering and manufacturing disciplines that are going to be available for people to progress onto. So that's really exciting for us. And as well as our apprenticeship programs at the college, we also offer short part-time courses as well, sort of at an introductory level, as Colin was saying that they offer as well. So that can be in things like entry-level courses in CAD or computer-aided design, or computer-aided machinery, CAD/CAM courses. We also do introductory level robotics courses and things like hydraulics and pneumatics, PLCs or programmable logic controllers. So those are maybe a good sort of chance to dip your toe into the water before you fully commit to a 3 or 4 year course, perhaps. Yeah. But obviously we're talking specifically about manufacturing today, but as Dudley College of Technology, we offer a huge range of courses across a wide variety of sectors. So yeah, please contact us via our website, or more importantly, through the Made Futures exhibition stand. Please come and talk to us after the event. And yeah, if we don't come straight back to you, if we're not live, then we certainly will through the contact details that you've registered through this virtual exhibition.
Yeah, definitely. And I strongly encourage everybody, all of the attendees here today, to head over to the exhibition after this and get networking with our panelists through the live chat straight away. So our panelists may not be the ones available on the live chat, however, there will be team members there. So if you do have any questions, require any links, thinking about doing those courses that our panelists have mentioned today, thinking about applying for a job maybe with Unison, then please head over to the exhibition. But now we've hit 12 p.m, so we're going to have this last 15 minutes now just to ask our panelists some questions, and you guys have put some really good questions and some really lengthy ones, so I'm glad to see that you're also engaged. But the first question we have here today is for Daniela, and Arpit Jamkar, apologies if I pronounced your name incorrectly, but he asks, my question is for Daniela. Hi, I did my undergrad in aerospace engineering and currently I'm about to complete my postgrad study in advanced engineering and management here at Sheffield Harlem Uni. I have a keen interest in the aerospace sector, but I feel confused because of the zero relevant experience. What advice can I gain from you to move forward into the aerospace sector for my professional career? Thank you.
So, hi there. I did not manage to catch your name, but hopefully my answer will at least be what you're looking for. So, yes, I've been through that whole process. I know what you mean. You finish your degree and you're wondering, where do I go from here? So, first of all, have you considered a graduate program? There are loads of aerospace industrial companies that have a graduate program. AMRC offers one as well. AMRC started off as working with the aerospace industry. So for example, if manufacturing sector from an aerospace perspective is something that you're interested in, please go ahead and check our job listings as well. Look for places that are keen to give you training. Not all of them. Don't be scared, first of all, to apply. You won't get anything if you just don't go for it. That's the bottom line, and it always has been. Think about all of the skills that you've gathered and try to analyze which ones are transferable. And if you spend some time doing that, you're going to be surprised how many skills you've gone through your postgraduate studies and through your university degree. It's just a scary time when you're looking for a job, but most skills are transferable, and you can put it in a format, in a CV or in an interview where that's very well understood. So I would suggest personally, but that's just my personal suggestion, considering the track that you're following, go through a graduate program, because their commitment will be to get you up to speed, to train you up. You're probably going to be in different areas of the industry. I know for sure Rolls-Royce have one. I know for sure Airbus have one. So all of these big companies, if that's what you're interested in, they have a graduate program. Smaller ones may not have it, but it's still worth a look. And you never know, just keep trying, be yourself. Keep yourself ahead of the curve by constantly wanting to learn, and be honest. It's always a good and a key one when you're looking for a job and when you're in an interview. Be honest. Know your strengths, but also know your weaknesses.
Perfect. That's a great answer. Thank you, Daniela. And the next question I'm going to put to you, Colin. How do we ensure that the learning around future skills for engineering and manufacturing will disseminate to the whole of the learning and skills infrastructure as existing FE colleges and schools? I'm unsure of what FE stands for, though. My apologies.
No, it's okay. So looking at further education, so this is something that I want to try and work with that sector in greater depth. So as part of the MTC, we've got a future skills team. What they do, they go out and look at the current landscape, what training is currently available, what training is going to be required in the future, and then how do we then determine what training solutions need to be created? Now, obviously, we're creating that content as a commercial offering to help upskill engineers currently in the sector. What we could do to support FE institutions to adopt some of the content that we're developing is probably offer some of our online training through for some form of licensing agreement. So it's just looking at how we can actually work closer with the FE community, understand what it is that they're trying to achieve through their upskilling program, and how we can then work with them to overlay some of our currently developed materials and overlay and embed that into their current program offerings through, like I say, that licensing model. So I think that's a potential way that we can support that community. But what we also have as part of the NTC and the Advanced Manufacturing Training Centre, we have a number of different dissemination events where people can actually register. So we have like the Digital Manufacturing Summit each year. We've just had a manufacturing summit the previous week, which was conducted virtually. So there are numerous different opportunities where we want to support the manufacturing industry and communicate our findings in these different new and emerging technologies in a number of different ways. So some of it is through commercial arrangements, and some of it is through doing the right thing and disseminating it through some of the events that take place throughout the NTC's calendar.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for that, Colin. So like I said, guys, we're going to go until 12:15, taking us up to an hour for this event. So we'll get through as many questions as possible. So please stick around if you've submitted a question, as we may get to it. However, if we don't, the exhibition is a great place for you to head over to and go to these panelists' stands to ask any further questions that may not have been answered here today. And the next question is for you, Alan. So with all the changes due to the pandemic has caused in the workplace, do you think there will be an availability for those disabilities to work remotely across the UK? Or do you think that workers would still need to be local to offices and work based from there? And that question is from Lisa.
A lot of what we do is very practical, hands-on work. So we need the majority of our workforce in place, but we are having a more flexible schedule, shall we say, for some of our people that maybe do write our software or do our CAD design or electrical design, that kind of thing. So the office jobs are more flexible. So we're having a bit more of a rota, trying to keep the office as empty as possible. But the actual practical side of building machines and machine tools, unfortunately, needs people on the ground. So it will change. I think we're a bit more open to a bit more of a work-life balance than perhaps we were before. So change is happening. Whether it'll remain that way, whether the pressure of work, I don't think we're as efficient with people working from home. I think some people are suited to working from home and some people aren't. Some people need that natural interaction. And also I think some of our innovation and our ideas and bouncing those ideas off each other is much slower. And it tends to fall between the cracks in terms of our product development sometimes. There's no shortage of ideas, but we need people to take those ideas and build on them. So I still think work is our world, work is at work.
Yeah, of course. And I think, even though it seems a long time to us since the pandemic, since, March last year, we just had the anniversary yesterday, it's still quite new, isn't it? We're still getting used to working from home. We're still seeing what can be done from home and what needs to be done at the office and what needs to be done in the factory. So, we're still quite a while away from that. But thank you for that answer, Alan. And Ian, this question's for you. What opportunities do you see for Generation X? And apologies, because I'm not sure what NPI stands for, but they say, what opportunities do you see for Generation X, NPI specialist / project manager?
Well, I think, sorry to be vague on my answer, or I don't mean to not answer it properly, but I think with our opportunities, we always are led by our employers. Mm-hmm. So we're very much sort of demand driven by them and their opportunities. So an employer will approach us and say what sort of role they're looking to recruit to or perhaps a broader role, and they'll give us a skill set of what they want to start with, and then that role will grow into. So I think going back to what we've said earlier, and some of the other panelists have said, that whatever sort of qualification, background or training that you've got, there are transferable skills there. So if you are finding that the specific thing that you're qualified in, you can't find roles in immediately, there will be things that are very transferable there, that you can take into other roles. So I don't know if that helps at all.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that, Alan. I think someone's just popped into the chat. I think NPI means new product implementation. So thank you for that, Paul, for pointing that out for us. So we can get a couple more questions in here today, and then we apologise if we can't answer everyone's questions. But like I said, if you do have any further ones, or you didn't get your question answered here today, but you really would like an answer, then please head over to the exhibition to visit our panelists' stands. And that previous question that that Ian just answered, my apologies, that Ian just answered, was from Hassan. So hopefully you got some benefit from that, Hassan. So the next question I'd like to shoot back to Colin, if that's okay. And this is from an anonymous attendee, and they've asked, what A-level subjects would you recommend to do either to be generally well equipped for the future, or subjects to get into this industry? Good.
That's a great question. And I always go back to my own experience. So just to give you a bit of context, I did A-levels, and for me, it probably wasn't the right route. And then I progressed into an apprenticeship, and then flourished through my apprenticeship program. So you could actually start to consider an apprenticeship as an opportunity straight from school. If you're looking at particularly getting into engineering / manufacturing, and then looking to go down a degree route as an example, I would recommend subject areas that would include maths, physics, and those types of specific subjects. But just keep your options open at this stage. Consider all options. Don't just focus on the A-level route, because I think people get tunnel vision that that's the only route that they can take. There are some fantastic further education courses specifically aligned to engineering. Like I say, there are apprenticeship opportunities, there's different levels of apprenticeships, and so on and so forth. So even though like that the main focus would be on maths, science, STEM subjects, just look at everything that's available to you rather than just focusing on a specific route, because it might not be the only way to get to where you actually want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Thanks for that, Colin. That's some great advice. And we have time for one more question today. I'm going to give this question to Alan, and it comes from an anonymous attendee. And they've asked, as an employer, what things would stand out in a CV / cover letter when applying for an engineering apprenticeship?
Gosh, that's a difficult one. I think doing things outside of work, or outside the education. So, you know, if you're a pianist, shout about it. If you're into sport or into clubs, if you're doing volunteering work, things that an interviewer would say that person's different, you know, that what makes them, it gives them an inkling of what makes them tick. Mm-hmm. And also gives you a clue as to that can-do attitude. If you're putting yourself out there and doing things in the community or whatever it might be, it gives us a bit more of your personality, because I think you'll heard from all the panelists that it's all about attitude. You can learn skills, and you know what Colin said, apprenticeships, some of our best talent in our business, for instance, is come from apprentices at 16, and some of them have gone on to do their degrees as they work with us. And there are lots of ways that they're probably our most intelligent engineers within our business. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely say shout about the things that you do that aren't related to your skills. Give us something to talk to you about, to try and get into your ribs a little bit, to find out what makes you tick. Because we want people that can communicate. We want people that can we can understand and get to know, because it is teamwork. And without knowing you, we can't build a team.
Yeah, most definitely. And thank you for that, Alan. Some great advice there. So as Alan said, you know, anything that portrays your communication skills, maybe your organization skills, mention that on your CV and on your cover letters when applying for the jobs at the exhibition this week. But that is all we have time for today. I can see there's still many questions left, and apologies if yours wasn't answered today, but you can visit the Dudley Advanced Technology Centre, Dudley Advanced College, sorry, at the exhibition. You can also visit the Manufacturing Technology Centre, and you can also visit Unison's stand at the exhibition as well. So please head over there if you did have any questions for either Alan, Ian or Colin today. But hopefully we got round to most of your questions, and you got some benefit out of that. So I'd just like to finish off by saying thank you to all of our panelists here today, Ian, Alan, Colin and Daniela. Thank you so much for joining us and offering your time and advice to the job seekers and to the manufacturers on the panel on the event today.
Thank you.
Other than that, I'd just like to mention that we do have a masterclass tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. For a session on digital competencies. And also there's still the Golden Banner competition that's still running. So you still have the chance to win a bottle of wine, non-alcoholic version if you wish to have that, or a Moleskine Smart Book. So find the Golden Banner within the exhibition. Make sure to post it on socials with #MadeFutures and #1K Jobs Challenge, and win that free bottle of wine or Moleskine Smart Book. So thank you again for everybody joining us today, and good luck at finding your next role at the exhibition. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.